Hi, my name is Adam Robinson. I am the teaching pastor at Double Oak Community Church, as well as a traveling speaker. And next Wednesday, I am going to be working with you to help out the teens of Shades Mountain Baptist Church learn a little bit more about marriage. And so I wanted to thank you guys for participating. I know you kind of been roped into something and maybe you don't even know what it is, but I wanted to take a couple minutes and prepare you for that. It's going to be great. It's going to be easy, and you are going to do a huge service for the students of your church. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing. For the past few weeks, we have been going through a series with the students on marriage, not just sexual purity or why that's important, but really marriage. 2 weeks ago, I did a talk on marriage and the theology of it and why it's important and why God created it, loves it, protects it, and why we should do the same. And they've been talking about a lot of other issues too. And so we thought it would be great is if we actually brought in some real live married people and told them a little bit about what marriage is. The goal of this is for students to walk away with a very realistic picture of marriage. I think for most students, when they think about marriage, they're really simply thinking about dating, maybe the wedding day and the honeymoon, but beyond that, they're not thinking very far. But you know that marriage is a lot more than that. And so we want to take some time to prepare the students and give them a good idea of what marriage looks like. So hopefully they can not only prepare themselves for marriage, but that they will begin to really look forward to it and enjoy it. Really the goal of this whole thing, and it's something I don't think the church has done a very good job of in the past 20 years or so, is celebrating marriage. We've got a lot of war stories about divorces and breakups and everything else. And what we want to do as church people and as members of the body of Christ is to say marriage is great and it's awesome and it's something that we celebrate. So what's going to happen is this. Next week, we're going to come in, we're going to have you guys up on stage with me, and I'm basically just going to interview you. This is not the newlywed game. We're not going to try to embarrass you. I'm sure some funny things will come out as a course of the deal. We don't want this to be super serious either, in that we're not going to lecture the students on things, but we really want it just to be kind of a very real, honest look at what marriage is. And so we'll talk a little bit about that, but the majority of our time will be me asking you questions about marriage. And you guys are at different stages in marriage. Some of you are newlyweds or in the first few years of marriage. Some of you guys have been married a long, long time, and we want to get all of your perspectives. So I'm going to give you just a few of the questions I'm going to ask. I may have a couple more, but I wanted you to be thinking about them so that you don't feel kind of just like, kind of thrust into this. You can have some time to really prepare your answers for some of this, or just be thinking about the answers. So I will ask the standard questions, how did you meet, and that kind of thing. What was dating like? Obviously for some of you guys who've been married, a long time, dating will be different. That will be fun to talk about. I will ask this: what was the most surprising thing about marriage in the first year? So as you got married and really saw what it was and the challenges of living with somebody else, and what was the most surprising thing, the thing you didn't think about at all before you got married, that all of a sudden you're going, whoa, I'm having to think about this now or deal with this, and I didn't really think about that at all before I got married. What have you learned the most since you've been married? Really kind of melding your life with somebody else's, becoming one flesh. What is that taught you about life? What have you learned through marriage? What were you completely unprepared for in marriage? As you have faced challenges with maybe moving or family or kids or jobs or expectations, what was the thing that you were completely and totally unprepared for that all of a sudden you had to deal with? We want students to kind of be thinking about some of these things, so maybe they're not as shocked or surprised as you were. So that'll be a fun one. If you could go back and prepare yourself for marriage, what would you tell yourself while you're dating? Before you're dating, before you meet the person you're going to marry, what would you have told yourself to prepare you for marriage? Think about that for a little bit. What was something you probably would have worked on had you just known, or been looking for in a mate had you just known? What would you wanted to be prepared for? Because this is your opportunity to really tell students to say, man, think about this. No one told me to think about this. No one told me that I should be working on this. I was all obsessed with this over here, worried about that, but I really needed to have thought about this. What is that thing? How has marriage helped your relationship with God? we talked a couple weeks ago about how marriage really is that picture between Christ and the church. And so it's here to help us. It's here to make us holy. It's help us to get here to give us kind of a picture of what that looks like. So what have you learned about God through your marriage? What is something that God has really taught you or challenged you with or helped you understand about your relationship with Him? Or even just something as simple as learning to love someone else truly and giving yourself away to someone else to see how Christ gives Himself away to us. What is the thing that you really learned about God? How is He changing you and molding you through your marriage? That would be a good one. This is going to be a great question. Is marriage easy or hard? I'm assuming the answer to that is going to be hard, and if it's easy, I'm going to ask why. Why is it easy? Why is it hard? I'm sure, and then I'm going to ask, is it worth it? I'm assuming there the answer will be yes, and we'd love to hear why. Why should students wait to really prepare themselves for marriage? And once they get into marriage, why should they stick it out? Why is it worth it to go through things? You may tell the students some things that say, hey, marriage is tough sometimes. You really got to work at it. You got to invest in it. And they're going to ask the question, well, then why should I do that? I mean, I can just go sleep around. Why should I be waiting around for marriage? Tell them why. Why is it worth it? Why is it worth really investing in your marriage and loving your spouse? I am sure that there's a lot that you value and respect and enjoy about your spouse. Have those things changed over time? I mean, you got married for certain reasons. You like the person that you're marrying, but as you've spent time with them and becoming one with them, do you look at them and say, man, I really appreciate this about you so much more than I did 5 years ago or 10 years ago? Are there anything changed that you said, wow, I've discovered more about my wife, about my husband. I see so much more in them, and I respect and enjoy that even more, and so it's growing over time. I really think that's one thing we want the students to walk away with, is that marriage gets better over time. It's hard, but it can get better. It can grow. It's not just this one-time thing. It's something that can grow over time. So I am single, by the way, and so I'm not going to be throwing in a lot of my 2 cents worth. I'm going to be letting you guys really kind of drive the discussion. So be praying about this. Think it through. Pray about what God would have you to say to the students. Like I said, we're not gonna make it totally funny, but we're not gonna make it totally serious. We want it to be kind of lighthearted, but definitely real. We want students to walk away with a real picture of marriage, so that they can say, "Man, I want that, and I want to prepare myself for that. I want to be ready for that when God brings it into my life." You can get in touch with me. My email address is adam@adamrobinson.org. So please feel free to email me anytime before Wednesday, and then we will meet earlier. If you guys want to come 30, 45 minutes early, I would love just to sit with you guys. We can talk a little bit and get prepared. But I would love to answer your questions beforehand, get you ready. But I am looking forward to working with you all next week. So thank you, and I will see you next Wednesday.